The Great Awakening was an incredible transatlantic religious revival which took place in colonial America, occurring first in the Middle Colonies and New England in the 1740s, and then later on moving to the Southern Colonies. It was the first significant religious revitalization where African slaves were involved. Three preachers, William Tennant, George Whitefield, and Jonathan Edwards, had a major role in the Great Awakening. These ministers promoted individuals to account with powerful sermons, which triggered a sense of personal spiritual guilt and a passion for salvation.
William Tennant was born and raised in Great Britain in the 15th century. He became a priest in the Church of Ireland in 1706 after studying in the University of Edinburgh. He came to America in 1760. He became an influential preacher in New York and Pennsylvania. He eventually became the pastor of a church in Chamonix, PA. William Tennant trained many men to become ministers and converting many colonists through his emotional speeches before his death in 1746 at the age of 73. The Law College was founded in 1726 by William Tennant Sr. This college was formed in order to train ministers and teach many people to read and write for religious purposes. This college, among others, helped largely increase the amount of literate people in the colonies. This college was one of many that led to an educated colonial population. This is a quote from William Tennant's The Justice of God. All hypocrites, such as are unjust to God and their own soul, who cover their inward injustice with an outward show of piety, such are an abomination to God, and may expect to be cut asunder by the sword of divine justice.
George Whitefield, born in England in 1714, was a powerful preacher on both sides of the Atlantic. He began preaching in England when he realized that many working-class citizens were not attending church. This started his goal of spreading religions. He preached at many worksites to increase the amount of people who listened to his sermons. He started to do missionary work in the colonies, which led him to meet the Tennant family. This allowed him to gain more theological teachings. Whitefield is a fire and brimstone preacher who instilled fear of God. This fear led to large religious conversions in the colonies. George Whitefield died in the year of 1770 in Massachusetts.
Jonathan Edwards was born on May 26 in 1745 in the state of Massachusetts and was a skilled theologian. In 1758, his father moved his family to New Jersey, where his father became head of the College of New Jersey. Becoming orphaned after both of his parents died in that same year, his friends prepared him to attend Princeton College, which he graduated in 1765. About a year after his graduation, he began studying theology with Joseph Bellamy and preached from time to time. After teaching at Princeton for 2 years, in 1769, he became the pastor for the Whitehaven Church of New Haven. His sermons were overpowering as they contained a heavy, aggressive tone and were considered as progressive orthodoxy. Progressive orthodoxy is the element in sermons of humane teachings, which is ironic that Edwards showed that, considering the severity of his aggressions towards humans in his sermons. Edwards was a strong believer in Calvinist traditions, and his thoughts were broken up into 4 main groups. 1. Methods. 2. Strategies, triune God, the angels, and heaven. 3. Theological anthropology and divine grace. And 4. Church ethics, eschatology, and society. Here's a sermon quote from Jonathan Edwards, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. How dreadful is the state of those that are daily and hourly in danger of this great wrath and infinite misery! But this is a dismal case of every soul in this congregation that has not been born again, however moral and strict, sober and religious they may otherwise be. Oh, that you would consider it, whether you be young or old.
The Great Awakening has affected many aspects of modern life. The Minister College of New Jersey eventually became Princeton University. The Great Awakening has also been replicated many times. The first time this movement was replicated is the cleverly named Second Great Awakening, which took place in the early and mid-1800s. There has also been a third and a fourth Great Awakening taking place in the late 1800s and the 1960s, respectively. However, the Fourth Great Awakening's existence is disputed among scholars. The religious revival of the Great Awakening still permeates in our culture today.